Hi, happy Monday. It's Jamie Green, the Solar Queen, and I'm live on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. And I wanted to talk about the utility rates that are continuing to increase and what you can do about it to stop the increase and switch over to solar energy. So, I have been helping homeowners go solar and save on their energy costs for several years now, which is kind of crazy to believe and think that that's been the case, but it has been. And I have been very, very grateful to be able to be a part of a solution to people's problems, which are increasing utility rates. So, I was working on a couple of solar proposals today for some folks, and I just opened up the PG&E bill for one of the homeowners I'm going to meet with later on this afternoon via Zoom. So if you don't know, you can meet with me for a solar consultation and you can go to my website and you can set up a time to meet with me, and I'll put that on the link down, or screen down below, or the little banner, and you can go there. And so if you're watching this or watching the replay and you want to know how you can meet with me, that is how you go to my website. You fill out a couple of small little forms, and if you can, upload your utility bill. And if you are in California, because I can help homeowners in several states across the nation: New York, Florida, Texas, Arizona, California, all over the place. But Californians are seeing some of the highest rates in the nation, exceeding Hawaii of all places. But one of the important things to do is to download the data, that your green button data that your utility company is going to give you. So that you can go in, you can log into your online account and you can download it. And you want to download the interval data because this is really important to make sure that we size your home with the proper solar system size, but also the proper amount of storage. So gone are the days of just getting solar. In California, you must pair it with solar with a battery for you to get the full benefit of solar energy, and you're still going to save money. So I was so you can go to my website and do that, take care of that. But I was looking at a PG&E bill, and I want to show you one from a year ago. I think it is maybe even 16 months ago. This is kind of crazy. So look at the rates from a year ago. Here you go. So this is a year and a half ago, March to April of 2022. These were the rates back then. So time of use 4 to 9 p.m. and it's 39 cents a kilowatt hour for peak time of use, and off peak 37 cents. So not a huge difference between the two. But let me show you what it looks like when I looked at this utility bill that I'm preparing for later on today, which is why I'm going live to share with you that the madness continues and the CPUC is going to vote again. CPUC stands for California Public Utility Commissioner. They are going to be going through and increasing, probably voting for and increasing rates to Californians in the major utility companies, which are Pacific Gas and Electric, or PG&E, SDE, Southern California Edison, and San Diego Gas and Electric, SDGE. And SDGE has officially reached 82 cents a kilowatt hour. So when you look at this, 39 cents, that seems like a lot, but 82 cents, that's more than double what it was a year and 6 months ago. So let me just show you. I'm not going to scroll up and down because this is an actual live utility bill. I don't want to disclose anybody's information, but you can see the rates from a year and a half ago till today. Here we go. It is literally 53 cents a kilowatt hour for peak time of use from 4 to 9 p.m. And off peak is 45 cents a kilowatt hour. So these homeowners were only using about 1,200 kilowatt hours. Is that right? Yep. 1,200 kilowatt hours. And they're paying 542 cents, or 542 cents. Wouldn't that be nice? $543. $543 for 1,200 kilowatt hours. That's an average of, 45 cents. So here is how you can stop this. If you own your home, if you own a business, a building, a commercial building, You can go solar too. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download those utility bills, and you're going to want to download the interval data, because we now have to pair the solar with the storage for you to get the full advantage and benefit of solar energy. So you're still going to come out ahead whether you lease the system, which we're seeing a lot more of right now because the cost to borrow money and interest rates have gone up so much that leases are becoming much more of a viable option for people because you're starting out at a lower monthly cost for the solar plus the storage. And then for a lot of leasing companies, after 5 years, you can make the decision if you want, if you are really benefiting from solar and you want to own the system, you can, and you can purchase the system after 5 years, or you let the lease go for 25 years and you decide to buy it then, or you have the system taken off and then you put a new system on. There's a homeowner that I've been talking with through Facebook for a couple years. I say a couple years now because it's been a couple years, but she is an original adopter of solar. Her solar system's over 19 and a half years old. And she had it removed because she needs to replace the roof. So the roof is getting replaced, but the original system is with the original net metering agreement, and that is set to expire in 6 months. So for all the people who have been on solar in California for almost 20 years, your net metering agreement is going to be expiring, and you are going to be thrown into net metering 3.0, and it's going to be a rude awakening to you. So for that homeowner, I recommended that she just start over. Like, don't even worry about putting 42 solar panels back on her roof, but go ahead and get an updated system because she's going to be moved into NEM 3.0, whether she likes it or not. And she needs to get storage. So we're waiting to see. I'm waiting to see what she decides to do. She may wait a whole year and see what the utility company is charging her, which I know what she'll be getting charged. She'll be getting charged 45 cents a kilowatt hour. But this is kind of important because then we need to know and understand how much energy is being used at nighttime when the sun goes down, how much energy is being generated during the entire year, and how much she's using for the entire year. So there's some critical points to understand, to size your system properly. And this goes for anybody that isn't in California, or you are in California and you live in LADWP or in SMUD or any of the municipal utility companies. You're not affected by the net metering changes, and you're not required to get solar and storage. But solar is still, you still have the net, like essentially NEM 2. But this also applies for the rest of the country where there is no net metering 3.0, like here in California. Or in other words, there's still net metering where you send send an extra kilowatt hour to the grid. They give you a credit, and then you can pull from that or debit from that credit later on in the year. These things, if you still have that with your utility and in the state that you live in, I would encourage you to get solar. Because even when I got solar originally, I guess it's coming up on, 5 years ago, our kilowatt hour rate was between 16 and 18 cents a kilowatt hour, and it still made sense to go solar back then. So for those that live outside of California, or you don't think you're paying a lot, go ahead and lock in the savings. It's kind of like locking in gas, with your car. Can't believe how much gas prices are in California. I think it's $5.70 a gallon. Imagine if you could have locked it in at $2 a gallon and then just drove unlimited miles or not unlimited, whatever your mileage was every year at $2 a gallon rather than $5.60 here in California. That is what solar does for you as a homeowner. So there are things like net metering agreements. There are things like that we do have to consider, but solar in general for most homeowners, if they own their home and all that, is going to save them money. And everyone, I went to Costco the other day and I couldn't believe how much I spent on just regular groceries. It used to be that I could get out of the Costco for under $200. That is not the case anymore because inflation has gone up so much. So any way that you can make a fixed cost for your energy is a smart thing to do. So that's what I am here to share with you and talk about in this live stream. So if you have any questions after, if you watch this in the replay, put your questions in there and I will answer them, or reach out to me. If you're watching on YouTube, you can reach out to me at Jamie Green, the Solar Queen, Jamie at jamiegreenthesolarqueen.com. If you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook, you can send me a message and say, I'm interested in solar for my home or business. And we can talk about what we need to do for your situation. So the way that you put an end or a stop to the utility rate increases is by getting solar and storage. And so that is the thing that you want to really, really consider and think about. And some of the benefits of it are there's a 30% federal tax credit that is available to homeowners and businesses who get solar for their residence or their commercial property. It's 30% of the total cost of the solar system. That's a huge benefit. So if you do want to purchase it, that is a tax incentive for going solar. There's no cap on it. So if you're a business owner and you need $1 million system and you have the tax liability of $300,000, you can recoup that all back in the form of a tax credit. There are also other additional benefits if you're a business owner, which is depreciation and things like that. And for some homeowners, I have CPAs you can talk to about depreciating the cost of the system as well, simply because you do have a net metering agreement, which is where the utility company is going to pay you for producing energy. So there's ways around that to get the cost of the system depreciated. I'm not a tax advisor, not a CPA, but that is a known fact for both commercial and residential systems. But when you get the solar put on your roof and you get the storage, firstly, there's a couple of things about storage. Not all storage is created equal. If you are prone to power outages and you need backup power, you need to get a battery that has backup capacity or backup capabilities. Not just self-consumption, or not just giving you the energy at nighttime when the sun goes down or it's a cloudy day. You want to have it to be self-consumption as well as backup if you are prone to backup or power outages. Because if you don't have a backup battery, or a battery that has backup capacity, or I should say capabilities, you're not going to have power in a power outage. So a lot of companies are starting, in California at least, are starting to offer self-consumption only batteries. And if you get those batteries, you will not have power during a power outage. I met with a homeowner who they have a well pump, like a water well. And so they need to have the well pump they need to have power to that all the time. And so for them, they need a battery with the backup capabilities as well as self-consumption. So storage and batteries, storage and solar is the way that you're going to fix in those costs. And if you purchase it, you can pay cash, you can finance it, you can take a loan out with your credit union. You can do that if you want. If you want to lease it, you can lease it for 25 years. And those are like, you have to start asking yourself the question, how long am I going to be in this home? Is this my forever home? Do I need a new roof? Roofs are really, really important. Like the homeowner that I mentioned earlier, who's been in her home for many decades and has had her solar system on her rooftop for almost 20 years. She had to remove it. And so if you have a roof and it's like kind of middle of the road, or it definitely needs to be replaced, you should consider replacing it with the solar. And oftentimes you can combine those costs together in a single solar loan, which is really, really helpful, because roofs these days get just like everything else. Everything is that much more expensive. So if you can wrap the roof in with the solar, that is a good thing to do. I've helped so many homeowners do that this year. Get the roof, get the solar, and for some, they need main panel upgrades. That's another thing that is important to understand is your main service panel. What is the rating? How old is it? Where is the gas meter in relation to the main panel, main electrical panel? Because if they're too close together and the utility company says no and the building code says no, we may have to upgrade it or even just relocate it to make it code compliant. So, because at the end of the day, and I say this all the time, at the end of the day, solar is a construction project. So if you need a roof, that's a separate project of its own, needs permitting, needs to be inspected. Solar is its own project. Solar and storage needs its own permit and it needs inspection. And if you need the main panel upgrade, we get the electrical company involved with that, and they determine what actually needs to happen. So this afternoon, the homeowner that I'm meeting with, their power line is underground and they have a 100 amp service panel. So we have some conversations to have. We're going to have a conversation about that and think about all the options for this particular home. So that being said, all these things may or may not apply to you, but all I want to invite you to do is go to my website at jamiegreenthesolarqueen.com. You can fill out the form, upload. There's going to be some questions about your home that are really, really important and pertinent so that when we meet, we get right to it and not waste anyone's time. I obviously take the time to answer questions and explain things, but if you can fill that stuff out in advance, it really, really does help. Then that way, when we meet over the phone or over Zoom, or if you're very local to me, I'm talking within 25 miles of me, which I'm in Marin County, California. We can meet in person, but even then, so much of this can be done like this over the Zoom or Google Meet or over the phone or in person. But when we have those things, then we have a starting point to work off of. So I understand your home, I understand your roof, I understand your future plans, I understand how you want to pay for the solar system, I understand so much that we can just get right to it. So the way to stop the utility increase or you experiencing that is by getting solar and a battery. So if you live in California, even if you do live in California in SDGE, SCE, or PG&E, there's likely going to be that you're going to have a little bit of a true up bill every single month when the solar is not producing enough for you for your home. So that's a new thing with NEM 3.0. But even still, you're reducing your costs for energy greatly, especially when you apply that 30% federal tax credit towards either your loan or you reimburse yourself if you've taken out cash or a HELOC or anything like that. But even with today's interest rates, even with even leasing, is still a wonderful option for you to go back and lock in a rate that is much more reasonable. So that is it. I just wanted to show you again, just so you see, 53 cents a kilowatt hour for peak time of day. This is for PG&E. SCE is right there with that with PG&E, and SDGE is even higher. And I know I met with a homeowner out in Long Island, New York, which thank you for watching that video. There's some videos about Long Island, or not Long Island, but just New York. And the solar incentives for people in New York to go solar are incredible. Just like Illinois, there's incredible incentives for Illinois. There's incredible incentives for certain states and utilities to go solar. And unfortunately, California doesn't have those anymore, which really is kind of crazy because they're trying to push all this green energy and they're also trying to push, electric vehicles and everything like that, which just means there's going to be a greater demand on the grid to power these EVs, which is wonderful. So if you have an EV and you haven't gotten solar, you should really consider that too, because man, could you imagine? I mean, right above me is our solar system, and down the wall down here is our backup battery, but also I charge my EV directly from my solar system. So it's pretty awesome because then you're locking in a kilowatt hour rate that won't continue to go up and up and up. So again, here is I guess 15 months ago, these were the rates, 39 cents and 37 cents for peak and off peak. And then this is now what it is, 53 and 45 cents a kilowatt hour. And these are summertime rates. This one right here was a wintertime rate. So you have winter and you have summer, and we have a couple more months until summer rates are still in effect. But even then, when you go to the winter rates, they're not that much lower. So this homeowner, I'm excited to see what I can get them fixed in with a loan payment for their solar and storage and cover their home. My goal is always to get it way, way underneath the monthly payment that they're making, the average monthly payment. And so then everything else from there, they're protecting themselves from future rate increases. Oh, they're protecting themselves from future rate increases, and they are going solar and saving on their energy costs. So that is that. I hope you guys have a great week. Please go to my website, jamiegreenthesolarqueen.com, to set up a solar consultation with me. I'd be happy to hop on a Zoom or a phone call with you and discuss your options and make it a great day. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.